Hey guys, Mighty here. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys my New World BIS Disruptor set. Now, it's not exactly like true BIS, but it's pretty good for what it is. This is for the Greatsword and the SnS and the Sword and Board, so I'm going to show you guys the build for this. I can also make one on Spear SnS in the future if you guys want, but because New World Aeternum is right around the corner, it's about 2.5 weeks from now, I'll just show the build that I've been running up until this point, and then when New World Aeternum launches, I'll show you guys that build as well. About a week or so after that launches, start making some New World content for you guys. So first things first, let's go over the armor. This character in particular, I have a heavy helm with enchanted ward, thrust conditioning, refreshing. It's a good piece. I think dark plate is very mandatory, especially if you're running heavy. If you're running medium, I'd probably do tumblers, but I think for heavy, I think void dark plate's a no-brainer. Getting these artifacts too, very straightforward, very simple. I put slash conditioning on mine. You can put thrust conditioning. I think you can even put health if as long as health and enchanted ward don't coincide. I think you can do health, but yeah, you can do any of the conditionings or health. I think that works great there. Heavy gloves. I have enchanted ward, relentless freedom. Now you definitely want relentless freedom for the greatsword. I think this is it's a no-brainer. This is probably the strongest perk for the greatsword. You want relentless freedom 100%. It removes roots and slows. If you're hitting a shower, if you're rooted for 3 seconds from vines or something, just activate the relentless rush and you'll get out of it. And apparently the crit chance is increased by 13% with it as well, so cool. The legs, let's see, heavy legs. I have fortifying shield rush, shirking fort, thrust conditioning. I put fortifying shield rush on the armor because it does provide 21% armor for 6 seconds, and that's only if you hit with the shield rush. I think it's better to have it on the armor than on the shield itself because, before New World Aeternum, since I'm making this video, Sturdy is a very strong perk, and you can block a lot of damage and a lot of hits just with Sturdy by itself. You're taking 10% less stamina damage while blocking. This is nuts. And you also get stacks of Fortify, 5% for 5 seconds for each blocked hit. You take 5 hits, you've got 25% Fortify. Let's say you hit a Shield Rush, that's another 21% Fortification. And this all just kind of multiplicatively stacks with the Dark Plate, right? Because your armor's increased by 20%. In other words, you become very, very tanky. And I haven't even gotten to the SnS tree yet. So as for boots, I run the Frigid Dawn boots, Elia version with Enchanted Ward, and then you can put a conditioning on there, slash or thrust, or even health. I think you can do as well. And I would argue that Frigid Dawn is definitely BIS for this kind of build. You get the elemental aversion mitigation from fire staffs and ice gauntlets, maybe some void gauntlets as well. You get Enchanted Ward, which reduces your light and heavy attack damage by 4%, which is insane. And if you have this across all your armor pieces, you're styling. I just don't care enough to farm for Frigid Dawn and put it across all my armor pieces, but True BIS would probably be just 4 pieces of Frigid Dawn, and then you'll have Relentless Rush on one of them. So that's my personal input there. And then, yeah, as I said, for the shield, the Palisades BIS, you get sturdy fortification, you get slash shield ward, so you take less slash damage, which probably means I probably don't even need a slash conditioning on the dark plate. I probably could go thrust here. So yeah, I think Palisades BIS. I put sturdy as the perk here. So went to the kiln, crafted up sturdy, and it's nuts. Sturdy's insane. It's very underrated. Some people don't run it. I think it's really good, and especially if you're getting ganked by 5 or 6 people, Sturdy's a must, in my opinion. So that's gonna be it for the armor. Let's go to the weapons. So obviously I'm running the Serenity. I think the only thing you can do is you can put another perk on the Serenity, or you can go the gem slot. Just do the gem slot. It's a free 9% damage. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Just do the gem slot and do opal. That's what I do there. My sword is Plague Strikes with Pen Backstab and Vicious. BIS sword, in my opinion, would be Plague Strikes, so I would go for the Plague Strikes. I would still do the Pen Backstab, but instead of Vicious, I'd probably do Trenchant Rend. And now the reason why I say Trenchant Rend is because the half heavies with the sword and shield are very fast. If I whip out the sword and I just throw a half heavy, look how fast that is. So just one hit like this on a healer, and you've basically inflicted Plague Strikes. Trenchant Rend will also rend them by 14% or something for 12, and it's got a 12-second cooldown. Fun fact, a lot of people don't know this. You can actually hit with the sword, like the half heavy, it'll inflict the trenchant rend, and then you can swap to your greatsword back to the SNS and you can re-inflict the trenchant rend. For some reason, AGS didn't have a cooldown. Like, they have a cooldown on the sword while you have it out, but if you swap it or you sheathe the weapon, the trenchant rend cooldown basically resets, and then you can reapply it. So that's a fun fact. A lot of great bugs in this game from a good old AGS. So that's what I'd say is BIS. And then some people go with the Emerald that deals 13% more damage to people below 50% health. You could do that. I just keep it simple. I go Opal as well on the sword because sometimes I dodge and then strike, and that gives you a little more distance on your leap. So if I usually when I'm chasing somebody, I'll go like this, and that gives me a lot more range on the leap there. So like a little dodge forward, half heavy, and then I use my abilities usually like this. Gives you just a little bit more distance there to hit some of those abilities. Heartrune wise, just go vines. You're a disruptor. Your goal is to just be annoying and be a nuisance. So obviously just run the vines. I have a 625, 700. I don't think it makes much of a difference. Thing for AGS to do is to make the vines last longer if it's got a higher gear score, but otherwise I would just keep them 625. Save your resources there. Jewelry wise, very simple. Go Ankh. I have stam recovery on mine. You can probably slot something else, but stam recovery is 105 stam every 30 seconds while you're below 50% health. It saves my butt a lot. It's very good, very useful. So that's what I would do. Stam recovery is being nerfed in the next update, but I still think it's not bad. It's still not going to be bad. I think it's going to be 45-second cooldown, I believe. Still not going to be bad though. It might open up the door for some more choices there. I do Privateer's Heirloom. I put Mortal Empowerment on mine because I'm a sucker for the perk. I'm biased, so don't take my word for it. Privateer's Heirloom comes with slash damage and Hardy. Hardy's very good, gives you more block damage, so you can basically block longer and keep your stam up a little more. You know, instead of Mortal Empowerment, you can do Leeching. I think Leeching's a great substitute for Mortal Empowerment. That's probably what I would do if I wasn't a sucker for Mortal Empowerment. Just do Leeching, so that way when you're hitting people, you're getting health back. I think Leeching gets decreased because of Ankh. Be considered like lifesteal, so I think the benefit you're getting is 25% less from the Leeching, if I'm not mistaken, but it still wouldn't be a bad option to do that. And then Champion's Earring, I do Fortifying Toast. It's got Refreshing Toast and Regenerating. I think Refreshing Toast and Regenerating are a must. Regenerating, I do feel it when I don't have it. A lot of people are like, oh, Regenerating's terrible. Oh, I like it personally. So, yep, I would do that. And then obviously Fortifying Toast. So next thing is Consume's Health Pot, Regeneration Serum. Very straightforward. You know, you can do Fire Pots depending on what you're going up against, what group you're in. Fire Pots are good. If you're just fighting a lot of disruptors, you could probably swap that out for Oak Flesh Balm. Though Oak Flesh Balm isn't as good because I think it gives you less benefit regardless. And it says only 15 times, whereas the Fire Pots, like, it just lasts for 30 seconds straight up, and then you can extend that duration with your bags. So if you have lasting consumption, I think the Fire Pots get increased duration there. So definitely worth looking into there. Let's do the Fire Pots probably is your safest bet. Gems. I went over the gems here. As for the armor, I just go half and half, man. I guess the slash is from the shield. Let's see if I swapped the greatsword. Yeah, so getting the benefit from the shield there for the slash shield ward, but all in all, I just go half and half. Just 10% less damage from all sources. You just can't go wrong there. You can maybe, if you're fighting more disruptors, go a little more physical damage resist. Maybe take out a few opals and slot onyxes instead. Totally do that. And then you know, maybe if you're going up against, you know, one fire staff or no elementals, just go full onyx and then keep the fire pot or a lightning pot on standby, right? So you can go a lot of different directions with the gems. I just do half and half just to be safe. And now let's go over attributes. So yeah, just split the 200. There's no reason to do anything else. I think 300 strength, you'll get 7% base damage while under 90% health. Sometimes you're really not under 90% health, so you're just losing out on damage. And then you're losing out on 10% bonus backstab and headshot damage. So I would just keep that. Yeah, I would just keep that. I just wouldn't do 300 strength. I mean, you could try it. I think I've tried it before and I didn't like it as much. The 200 split's just better in my opinion. And then con wise, just do 200, put the rest into con. Just more con equals more survivability. So that's what I would do there. Weapon masteries. Let's go over the weapon masteries for the greatsword. So first things first, it's basically everything in the onslaught tree besides crosscut. You know, you could substitute steadfast strike for crosscut if you're trying to do a little more damage. There have been times where I have somebody weak and they're still challenging me with like a spear and they try to sweep me, and since I'm in a crosscut animation, I gain grit while I'm performing crosscut and then I end up securing the kill. It's rare, but it can happen. And I think the safest bet though is a disruptor. You know, steadfast strike reduces your cooldowns, it returns some health back, and it staggers, so it's not a bad ability. I think if you went steadfast, you went skyward, and you went relentless rush, you'd be solid there. And like I said, you can substitute steadfast for crosscut. I one time ran roaring rupture, which has actually been pretty decent. Like it definitely inflicts a lot of disruption there, especially when you're pulling people in towards you and just swinging your greatsword around. You can run slowing rupture, which induces like a 25% slow for 5 seconds or something like that. It's not bad. It's actually pretty it's pretty surprising how good it can be. But during war, it's tough to really nail this ability because people see you with the greatsword and they're running away from you. So that's what I think there. Obviously, go for keen posture, get a guaranteed crit. Your charged heavy attacks, you know, have 50% armor penetration. You gain the haste when you activate onslaught tree. Land a critical hit, regain some stamina and base health. Crush the weak is okay, but since it increases your crit chance by 10%, I mean, just go keen posture, right? So that's my input there. Aggressive shift can throw people off. Sometimes they don't expect you to swap into an onslaught stance after throwing a heavy. So usually I'll start by throwing a charged heavy attack, hit the aggressive shift, and then immediately go into a relentless rush. So something like this, or I'll open with this, and now that roots them, that slows them, and then I can start going into my other abilities. So that's the deal there. Relentless rush slows, I believe, 20% slow for 4 seconds. So that's something that not many people know about, but just, yeah, check out the tree. It's a 20% slow. If you hit somebody, you get empowerment. If you dodge, you gain empowerment. Adaptive rush, you root people for 0.5 seconds. It's hardly noticeable, but usually if somebody's flecheting away or using a burnout, you'll notice them kind of root for like half a second and get kind of stopped on their tracks sometimes. So it can be helpful. Relentless refresh, not really needed. Use this in PvE if you're fighting mobs in dungeons. Don't use it for PvP because getting kills in this game is extremely rare with all the healing and all the shenanigans going on. Giant Slayer, you can do this. You know, if a healer is sitting in a sacred and they're back to full, a charged heavy attack will deal 15% extra damage. Not bad. Definitely something I experimented with in the past. Maybe drop aggressive shift for it if you don't like aggressive shift. So that's definitely one thing you can do there. Otherwise, everything else in the Defiant tree is okay. You know, guard shift is eh. Cleansing chain, eh. Wary posture is like you gain armor 25% for the next like single hit. One hit, 25% reduced damage. Woo! Yeah, terrible. I think that needs to be like buffed in some way. And yeah, you can use some of these perks. I think Faultless Defender as of the recording of this video is bugged. So SnS, you know, you're a disruptor and you're trying to survive. You're trying to get into the fray, kind of just disrupt people and survive for a while. You're not really going to be going for leadership. You're probably going to do a half heavy to gain 30% empowerment for 5 seconds. You'll lose 1 debuff when you half heavy, and then you use your leaping strike to slow people and chase them down. And then you just slot everything else into your defender tree. Your final blow, you're not going to be doing a 3rd attack in your light chain, and you can reduce stamina damage by 15%, but ranged players aren't going to attack an SNS that's blocking. It's just they just don't do it. It's a waste of their time. Defender's Resolve, it's getting buffed next update. Maybe it has a place. We'll see. But for now, I don't use it. I like inhibiting people with the shield rush, slowing them down, weakening them, then maybe hitting a bash to stagger them for a while. So that's what I do there. Obviously, 15% physical armor, take it. Reduce damage from magical types, take it. Block with a shield, Your cooldowns are reduced by 1%. I think it's good. I think it definitely helps out. Next update, this is being put on the kite shield, so I don't know if I'll be using this in the next update. We'll see. Stamina damage reduced by 15%. This is huge. You block a melee attack with your shield and you take 15% less stamina damage on top of sturdy, which is insane. And you also gain 20% fortify when you block an attack for 5 seconds. Again, more fortification, more armor, right? Gain 15 stam when you hit a target. Shield rush or shield bash, take it. And then healing and regen is increased by 10%. Very, very broken when a healer heals you and you're running Onk and you have this. It's just, you go from 0 to full in one swipe of the staff. So take defensive formation, and that's the deal there. I could go over the Swordmaster tree, but you'd basically, if you wanted to run leadership, you'd probably take some of these abilities here, like mobility, opportunist. Confidence, probably not as much. You're never going to really be full health. Gaining 20% haste on crit isn't bad. You could drop one with the shield for the crit, 20% haste. You could totally do that. I'm always swapping between the greatsword and the SNS, like back and forth, so I don't really get too much benefit out of the haste here. That's the deal with the weapon masteries. All right. So I think that's it for the video. And, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed. That's my BIS Disruptor set for New World, my thoughts and opinions on that. Obviously, I run a powerful Honing Stone. I also run the Roasted Rabbit with Desert Sunrise. That's what everybody's been using in the wars. So, if you guys want my thoughts and opinions on other stuff in the game, like armor-wise, weapon-wise, Heartrune-wise, like, just let me know in the comment section below, and I'll reply to you guys. I read all the comments. So, anyways, all right, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.